All right, guys, this is me again. This is Emmett, the Alpha Builder. All right, guys, I want to talk about something and I'll tell you what inspired this right here video. Um, you know, guys, dealing with some subcontractors, especially in the MEPs, mechanical, electrical, and plumbers. And guys, oh man, it's mainly in my community, in the African American community, when we have these contractors in our community. If I solicit their work, and even with homeowners, and so this right here happened with homeowners as well. The first thing I hear is, they want half up front before anything is done. I kind of understand that, but I don't understand it. Now, if you're dealing with, maybe, I don't really understand that, guys. I'm trying to understand it, but I don't really understand it. Now, the MEPs, I just don't get that, because I think that what lets me know that you are a credible MEP, that's mechanical, HVAC, electrical, or plumbing contractor, what that tells me, when you ask for half up front, what that tells me is that you don't have an established account with a supplier. And so in our area, the mechanical, I think it's called Wichison, they have a supply house, and only the mechanical guys can purchase. You got to have your master's. So guys, let me just say this right. So on your MEPs, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, each one of those guys have to have a license in order to do work for me. They had to have their own license when they go pull their permits. They pull their permits as a permit under my building permit. And it's connected with my building permit, but they have to get their own permit. It doesn't cost as much as my building permit, but they still have to get one under my permit. They have to be licensed, and the municipalities are gonna make sure they're licensed first. So once you have, and they have to have their master's license. So once they have their master's license, those guys can go to the supply houses and purchase equipment, right? So what that tells me, when you have an account at a supply house, that means you're, for the most part, established, and you're not going to just take my money and run off. Or that means that you got skin in the game too. It's not just me walking around with skin in the game, because worst case scenario, if I don't pay you, your remedy is really easy. And the remedy that you have, if you don't get paid, I think you have 60 days. You got a certain amount of time frame. Now you have, but it's really easy for a subcontractor to go to the local municipality of that county and do what they call they can put a lien on it. They can put a lien. It's very easy for subcontractors to put liens on builders or properties if the builders don't pay. So you have remedy. You have good remedy. So you can't say, well, you're not going to pay me. No, you have remedy, man. But contractors, man, you gotta, this half up front, you got to get your business. This is another thing I say, guys, you got to have your business in order. You got to have your business in order as subcontractors, man. You got to be able to go out there and at least, and if you have an account with a supply house, you got at least a net 30 days. You have a net 30-day, guys. So you can go get the equipment, put it in. By the time you have to pay them, you done got your check from me. And that also, if you're asking me for money up front, which means that you probably don't have an account at a supply house, and you're trying to pay for things out of your pocket first, as a builder, one thing that I value more than the work itself is you warrantying your work. So a year after I done built that property, I have to depend on my MEP guys to service warranties for at least 1 year. workmanship products and things like that. Well, if you don't have accounts and stuff like that set up, I'm wondering about your finances now. So if your finances are not right, how can I trust that you're going to be able to service my homeowner? Are you going to be in business? Do you have the business or the financial strength to stay in business to be able to service my homeowners? That's what I'm concerned about more than anything. And that's why, guys, and guys, I see it a lot in the African-American community, man. Just, God, man, these guys, most of us, man, they ask for, hey, man, you need to give me something up front. God, it just drives me crazy. It drives me crazy, man. Guys, we got to get our business in order, especially if you're going to be an MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbers. You need to have all that stuff in check, man. You shouldn't be asking builders for money up front before you do anything. You should at least be able to get, especially if it's new construction, you should be able to at least get your products in first and then say, hey, I'm going to invoice you for this right here. I also see, here's another thing I see. Now, I kind of can understand this right here on just a little bit. And I had a homeowner. I was talking to a homeowner. They had a basement that needed to be completed. And the builder, whoever the contractor was, came in and they took a lot of money up. They quoted out everything. They took the money up front, had the guys come out there and do the work. But they took a bunch of money up front. And this is for homeowners too, guys. Homeowners, don't just, now it's one thing if they need the materials. I get it, they probably need some material. But if it were me, I would make sure they got a home builder's license. Before I start hiring them to finish out basements and things like that, make them show you their home builder's card. Or homeowners, you're responsible for going online, going to the home builder's licensing board in that state and checking to make sure that person is licensed. Don't just take their word for it. You need to check that out. If they're not licensed, hey, nah. Because if they're not licensed, there is nothing to hold them accountable. At least with my home builder's license, if I do something wrong, the state is gonna come check me. They're gonna come out. They're gonna talk to me. Hey, man, what's going on here? So that keeps me in order. But if they don't have a home builder's license, there is nothing that's holding them accountable. So you got as your due diligence as a homeowner is to check that. Check their home builder's license first. Then if they ask for some up front, well, I get it. I might have to go buy some material, but let me pay wherever you buying your materials from, just make a list and I'll purchase the material from the list. That's fair to me. And then they let them go in there and do the labor, but don't just give them money up front. Let them go in there and do the labor, and then once they get it done, and okay, this is good, because this is what the banks do. This is what the banks do. When I'm building a house, the banks, they're not going to just give me a draw, rent out. You got to get that work done. They come out there and say, okay, this right here is done. We're going to release this right here. We're going to release these funds. This is what the homeowner should be doing, okay? You got this right here done. Now, your homeowner, you pay for all the products and stuff like that, the material. Okay, you put it up. Okay, it's put up. Oh, this is good, okay. All right, I'm going to write you a check out. What's your check? And make sure that check matches up. But that half up front, man, with the MEPs, I don't know if I'd do that, guys. I'm struggling with that. I really like some subcontractors, especially, I got one or two African-American guys, man. I really like these guys, good guys, man. But we got to get our business in order, guys. We got to get that stuff in order. All right, you guys, that's another one off the board. I can check it off. Half up front. Don't do it. You guys have a good one.